Hi guys, welcome to another video of my collection. This one I'm going to do my Arrow, Blu-rays, DVDs, box sets, etc. It's probably going to be a bit of a tricky video because I've got these all kind of piled up on top of each other, and it's quite an awkward little flat I'm in. But anyway, I'll sort of give an overview of the box sets, and then we'll crack on with the standard releases. So as you can see there, one of the recent ones, the big Gamera box set I picked up because I'm an absolute fan of Japanese films and I cannot bear to be without this kind of thing. So yeah, definitely worth shelling out for that. It's a great edition. Loads of great stuff in it. Comic book, behind the scenes stuff, big massive book. And the films, which I'm about halfway through, and to be honest, so far they're a bit patchy. I'm just making my way through them so I can get to the later ones, which look far better. But anyway, yeah, that's still a nice box. And then obviously, as you can see, American Horror Project 1 and 2. I haven't watched any of these yet, but it's a nice set, and I believe there's more planned. But as yet, they haven't announced them. Nice that they've kept kind of similar designs, although there are slight differences between the two boxes. CARRIE, great box set, great film. Last House on the Left, Wes Craven. Yeah, so I've seen the Anchor Bay DVD a long time ago. I've got the Anchor Bay double DVD set that came out a while back. To be honest, not a massive fan of it, or wasn't at the time. Maybe due a reappraisal, but it was, as intended, it was a pretty hard watch, pretty sleazy. Hills of Eyes, I've watched that recently again. Great film, really tense, dark, yeah, really good film. Hills of Eyes Part 2, very strange film. It's the weirdest sequel I've ever seen in my life. Very, very odd. House box set, all 4 films. I've watched House 1 and 2. I haven't watched 3 and 4 yet, but that's another great little collection. American Werewolf in London, what can you say? Fantastic movie. Always surprises me every time I watch it how quickly it moves and how violent it is. But yeah, great set. Nightbreed, big fan of this film. It's not perfect, as we all know, but I do kind of love it. There's a lot of great stuff in it. I watched the, I think it was the director's cut, or the sort of imagined director's cut, because I don't think Barker's really involved in it. I haven't seen, I think there's a third cut, but I haven't seen that. The director's cut in this, I actually was a bit disappointed. I didn't like some of the choices he made. I kind of would stick with the standard for me next time I watch it. But yeah, still enjoyable film. Beyond the Door, I haven't seen this. Another nice box set, but I haven't seen it. I've got 2 copies of the thing here. I actually had 3. I went a bit mad when they announced this one because initially it was hard to get, and then they announced that they were up in the print run. So I picked up 3 copies in the hopes that the price would go up and I could sell them on eBay, and that really hasn't happened. I gave one away to a friend. I've still got one in the wrapper, as you can see. I've also got the Steelbook as well. I'm not sure what to do with that, whether to keep it or just see if I can sell that on eBay as well. But, you know, anyway, brilliant film, classic. Candyman, great box set, great film. What can you say? This was one of my first proper sort of Arrow special editions I picked up way back whenever it came out. The Scarlet box, this is the full box with all the extras, booklets, posters, cards, extra documentaries, Clive Barker short films, all sorts of stuff. It's a massive set with loads of good stuff in it. Yeah, the films, I like 1 and 2, 3 not so much. But you know, it is what it is. Phantasm, yeah, another great box set. I'm really glad I got this one. This is the one, obviously I can't show you because it's got films on top, but this is the one with the ball inside. I've also got the original Anchor Bay ball set, but this one is a massive improvement, obviously not just because it's Blu-ray, but the quality is a lot better. I've also got the Hellraiser box that Anchor Bay released on DVD years and years ago. That's pretty, yeah, it's pretty cheap looking, but it's good enough. It's a laugh. Anyway, quickly moving on. So I've got the CREEPSHOW 2 one. I can't remember if this was the limited edition, sort of available only on the Arrow site, or if this was the just general limited edition. But anyway, yeah, picked this up. I just picked it up because I preferred the blue, or the teal rather than the red. Reanimator there, just you know, the standard Armory case. That's actually the American one because Arrow don't have the rights to the first Reanimator film. I believe that's Second Sight that have that. I actually thought this was the box set I was buying from America, and it turned out it was this, you know, but hey ho, shit happens. Bride of Reanimator. It's kind of entertaining follow-up. Not in the sturdiest of boxes, but it's a nice set. Picked that up second hand on eBay, as I have a lot of these. Society the same. Society, you know, it's a great little film. It's kind of a cheap looking TV production standards, but still quite entertaining. I'm missing the sort of wraparound flap for that one, unfortunately. But those are the breaks. Romero's Between Night and Dawn. 3 films he made between Night and Dawn of the Living Dead. Or rather, Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, sorry. In fact, I can pull this down because I can't remember the films. I know The Crazies is in here, but I can't remember the other 2. There's always a Vanilla in Season 1. I've only ever seen The Crazies, that was a long time ago. I do need to revisit those films, or revisit that film and the other 2. And then we've got my 4 Dario Argentos, Crystal Plumage, Cat Nine Tails, Deep Red Phenomena. Yeah, great films. I'm actually potentially upgrading to the 4Ks for these. I've requested those for Christmas presents, so we'll see what we get. And I'll probably end up getting the other ones that I don't get. I'm not massively into double dipping for 4K, but I figure, you know, if we get it as presents, and they're pretty decent price online, then why not? Blood Hunger. I'll take this down because this is more than one film again. It's a number of films by Jose Larraz. Whirlpool, The Coming of Sin Vampires. I actually bought this. I mean, I tend to buy most of Arrow's stuff anyway, or certainly the box sets. I try and get them all. But I saw the trailer for one of the films and I thought it looked incredible. Incredibly well made. So yeah. Set the Living Dead. Lucio Fulci's. Yeah, it's a great little box set again. Cool film. Colour Dames. The Night Evelyn Come Out of the Grave and The Red Queen Kill 7 Times. Yeah, sort of double bill giallo stuff. And again, above that, another double bill giallo. I think there was an attempt at a series of that kind of stuff, and as far as I know, they only did these 2 box sets. But you've got the Death Walks twice, duology if you like. And then above that, Black Cats, which I suppose is kind of in the same vein, but it's two films based on Edgar Allan Poe's Black Cat story. I do apologise because these are sideways, but that's Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key by Sergio Martino and Lucio Fulci's Black Cat. I haven't seen either of those yet, but they look great. And then we have Demons 1 and 2, the box set. Now I've got the Steelbook of Demons 1 and 2, which came out a while back, but I thought, fuck it, I like the box set, so I'm always going to get one. I haven't got the 4Ks for those, and I probably never will, unless I see them for a massively reduced price. Simply because it's too much, I think. Anyway, Tremors, yeah, just the regular Blu-ray box set, but I really like that. Great film. Crash, haven't watched it in a while. I didn't actually like it the first time I saw it years ago, but it's probably due a re-evaluation because I was a bit young at the time. But nevertheless, as I say, I like getting the box sets. The Complete Doctor Five's another one of my early buys from Arrow. I've just watched the first film, really enjoyable. I need to get around to the second one at some point, but that's a cracking little box set. Some great extras in it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I haven't actually watched the film, but and this was I think this was an eBay buy as well, but yeah, great little set as well. And just there at the top, Bloodbath, which I don't know much about, but I believe there's 4 cuts of the film on that set, none of which I've seen, so you know, is what it is. So these ones I'm going to start moving up to the top as we go through them. I'll go through them very quickly. Necromantic 2, I managed to pick this up on eBay for not too bad a price. Haven't watched it, but I've heard a lot about it. I haven't got the first set, and that is really hard to come by, so I doubt I'll ever get a copy. And I've got, pardon my pronunciation, Der Todesking by the same director. These films are meant to be pretty grim, very low budget. And there's Shram as well. Sort of art house sensibilities, but very sleazy as well. Very what would you call it? exploitation, very much surrounding death and gruesome imagery and all that kind of stuff. Then we have the Crimson Peak box set, which I hadn't seen when I bought it. I hadn't seen the film when I bought it. I've heard a lot of bad things about it, but I actually enjoyed the film. I thought it was pretty decent, little gothic chiller. Nothing surprising in the story. I kind of expected what happened, but yeah, good film. Fantastic box set. This is one of my favourites. I love the design of this. I won't open it up because I'll end up dropping things everywhere. Right, we've got the complete Sartana box set. This is actually the re-release one without the booklet, unfortunately, but I picked that up in a sale online, so you know, that is still a box set. That'll do me. Fear and Loathing, Las Vegas, Terry Gilliam film, based on the Hunter S. Thompson book, or stories, or tales, or whatever. Haven't watched that, but I've heard good things. De Niro and De Palma box set, the early films. Again, I watched the trailer of this and it looked fantastic. Videodrome, yeah, I've not seen this in years, but actually that was an eBay buy and I don't think it was particularly cheap. But yeah, I'm glad I've got it. It's also got the early Cronenberg films. I've got the standard edition of that, but I'm glad I got the box set. Donnie Darko, love this film. This has both cuts, the original cut and the director's cut. And actually, I've got both films elsewhere on DVD before Arrow got released them. I prefer the original. I think the director's cut adds far too much sort of not clarity isn't the word, but it removes a lot of the ambiguity, a lot of the sort of interpretation stuff, and I'm not a fan of that at all. I prefer the weirder it is, the better Donnie Darko is. RoboCop, if you don't know this film, I don't know what you're doing watching a video like this anyway, or you know, interesting films, but yeah, RoboCop, brilliant film and a great box set. Excuse me. Major Dundee, got this recently in one of the sales. Don't know much about it. Sam Peckinpah film, but I've watched the trailer. It looks pretty decent. Good little set. So a kind of strange one though for Arrow to put out, you know, considering the kind of stuff they put out. But you know, it is what it is. Dune box set, just the standard Blu-ray. Didn't go for the 4K. I'm not too fussed about 4K for that. I remember enjoying the film. It's a bit weird, but odd. I haven't read the book, so I can't compare it to that. True Romance, the Tony Scott film of Quentin Tarantino screenplay. I haven't watched this Blu-ray. I saw the film years ago when it came out. Yeah, it's enjoyable, but definitely due a revisit on that. The Jodorowsky box set. I haven't watched any of these films, but the trailers look fantastic. And yeah, I love this set. Years of Lead, a bunch of crime thrillers from Italy. Filmed in the 70s. Again, I don't know much about these films, but it's a nice looking set. Vengeance Trails, some westerns. Yeah, again, some of the Arrow releases are a bit strange. You know, they put out obviously cult films, horror films, science fiction, odd offbeat stuff, a lot of Japanese films, and then they put out some westerns, spaghetti westerns, albeit, you know, which kind of fits in with the Italian exploitation films that they do, but it does always seem to be a strange one to go for, but that's what it is. But this kind of thing, this is more in the vein of what I think they do. Now, if I can pronounce this right, the William Greffe or Greff collection. I haven't seen any of these films, but I have watched trailers and they look absolutely up my street, as low budget and daft as they seem. And in the same vein, recent purchase, Weird Wisconsin. I got this in the sale as well. And these, you know, Bill Rebane, similar kind of vein as well in Greffe ones. And I think as well, this one, I'll show you down here. Cold War Creatures, Cold War Creatures, films by Sam Katzman. I think they're also sort of low budget horror-y exploitation stuff. So yeah, I think that's a very loose series that hopefully they continue with. Now, moving on, we have, let's put this forward, we have the Battle Royale, the original box set, which, if this phone focuses properly, I picked this up, again, this is one of my early box sets from Arrow. I picked this up in one of their sales for an absolute steal. I don't think I paid more than about, I want to say 12 quid for it, but I can't remember. Lots and lots of extra stuff in that. It's great. I've got Battle Royale. If you've watched my other video, the Tartan videos, the Tartan Age Extreme video that I did, you'll know that I've got quite a few copies of this film, and as we go on with this one, you'll see I've got more. Anyway, these are all the sort of Japanese and Korean films I've got here. Stray Cat Rock, haven't watched any of these, but they look cracking as well. So I'm a massive fan of Japanese movies. This one, it took me ages to get this, and it was not cheap on eBay. Outlaw Gangster VIP was quite cheap. I think it was in a Zavi sale. Cracking looking box set. I haven't watched them yet, but I will get round to it. And in the same vein, Female Prisoner Scorpion, Zavi sale, and this is the one with the booklet. Most of the box sets I've got have got the booklets. Just one or two that don't. But you know, you get what you can. And then the first of, again, forgive my pronunciation, Seijin Suzuki or Seijin Suzuki. Yeah, these were eBay buys, and it actually took me ages to track them down. I had a bit of a back and forth with one seller of one of these box sets, but these are 10 films across 2 box sets. I've watched quite a few on the first box set, and yeah, I'm a big fan. I wasn't sure about getting them at first, because at the time I wasn't completely addicted to buying box sets from Arrow. But I ended up getting, it was through Criterion, the Tokyo Drifter released by Suzuki, and I absolutely love that film, so that kind of sold me on getting the rest of his output. Ring box set, Ring trilogy, with in it a second sequel. That was the original sequel to the first film, which then got banned in favour of what they actually put out. But yeah, I haven't watched the second sequel, but we'll get around to it. But that's a cracking little box set. That's the original one that they put out, not the re-release one. Now this one, Battles Without Honour and Humanity, Kenji Fukasaku. I went after this hard after I actually picked up the sequel box set, or the follow-up films, for a steal on Zavi, I think. I eventually got a copy of this, a good copy of this on eBay. It was not cheap. I am not going to say how much I paid for it, but I've seen them go for a lot more than what I paid for it. So, you know, it is what it is. Perhaps these are future investments, not for me because I'll never sell them, but maybe for people that come after me. But we'll see. But yeah, I've watched the first Battles Without Honour and Humanity film, and I loved it. I need to get around to watching them all because yeah, they're cracking. And sticking with Fukasaku, we've got Graveyards of Honour. It's a great little box set. It's got a film. Let me turn around because it's not Graveyards of Honour. It's first will focus, and it won't. It's Graveyard of Honour is the original film by Fukasaku, and then there's a follow-up sort of remake, if you like, or reimagining by Takashi Miike. I haven't watched either. I'm getting around to it. And my next Battle Royale box set, which has both the original and the sequel, and loads of extras. This is the sort of, it's not the 4K, but it's the upgraded from the 4K print. Yeah, so yeah, I've got far too many of these copies of that film. The Daimajin trilogy, again, apologies for my pronunciation. This is a great looking set. I haven't watched any, but I've watched the trailers, and I love it when they do something slightly different, you know, like I won't go open up too much. In fact, it's stuck at the top, I won't bother. But yeah, this opens up and then it kind of pulls out from there. Great little box set. And by the same studio and same makers, we've got the Yokai Monsters. I've actually watched the first 3. There's 3 of the original films from the 70s, I think, and then there's another Takashi Miike film snuck in there, because why not? I haven't watched the Takashi Miike one, but the first 3 films are great. The second one's probably my favourite. Spooky Warfare, I thought was cracking, but the other 2 are pretty decent as well. And I've got the Vengeance trilogy box set, which again, I've got quite a few copies of that on DVD if you've watched my Tartan Age Extreme video. But yeah, great films. Haven't watched any of the Blu-rays yet, but I'll get around to it. Now, moving down here, this will be a little bit awkward. I apologise for the shadow of the light. It's fine. I'm doing this at, you know, quite late at night. Anyway, now we've got, I'll just move these ones aside for now because they're sort of like superfluous kind of stuff. But I've got some original Arrow releases before they kind of became the company that they are now. Before they kind of really branded what they were doing. See if I can get this standing properly. Got Terror at the Opera, Dario Argento, great little film. And you can see even the label isn't, you know, they tried to do it in an actual arrow design, which is quite funny. Dawn of the Dead, again, from that arrows. And I've got the Day of the Dead, where they started kind of looking at some kind of brand, and this has got just the Arrow video, or Arrow Films design that they've kind of put out a few stuff with. But this is a nice little slipcase design. I picked this up, gosh, trying to think now, where I was working, maybe 2003, 2004, thereabouts, yeah, I would say so. But anyway, yeah, there's also a set like this of Martin, which is in a red slipcase, which I've been trying to track down just for completeness. And just behind there, we've got, now I don't have any of the white boxes they did for Blu-ray, but I do have some of the DVDs, as you can see. Inferno, Beyond, Living Dead, Phenomenon, Vampire, my only 5 window boxes that I've got that they released, but I've got some of the white editions on DVD as well. They did, as you can see, Card Player, Roma Santa, Deadly Outlaw Wrecker by Takashi Miike, Deadly Spawn, Night Child, Zombie Flesh Eaters, and these 3 here, sorry, oh, and Martin, sorry, I've got Martin in a window box as well, so I've got 6, tell a lie, no, I'm not going to pull that out, yeah, just as you can see, that's a nice little set, don't know why that's sitting up there. And then those 3 there, they're the Aerodrome DVDs, Cat and Tails, McBain, Satuichi. There's quite a few more of these, and if I can see them at low prices, I'll probably will get them just for completeness. But anyway, so we'll move on. I've doubled up on Cool and Hounds of Love. For some reason I picked up the DVDs, not the Blu-rays, but they come in nice slipcases. And these are just, as I say, just superfluous extra stuff. These are Shivers. There was an issue with the original pressing, so they sent out sent out new discs. These are I think, the broken discs. Same with the Demons box set, which I'm pretty sure I have swapped out. And these, sorry, the Katsu Diamond Guys Volume 1, which is actually the American release, which I picked up by accident, not realising. Edge of the Axe, the standard edition, I replaced that with the slipcase, but we'll come to that. And Master Gokun, I replaced this with the double disc version, but we'll come to that as well. Right, so if we can get in here and focus properly, let's start with the Blu-rays. Very quickly, we'll do this very quickly. I've got Bay of Blood, sort of bog standard release. Single disc. This is, if you can see it properly, this is Exterminator. I've flipped some of the cases around depending on which artwork I prefer. I kind of prefer this to the what I think is the new artwork. Exterminator, I have actually seen this when I was very, very young, probably inappropriately young, and I didn't realise it until I started watching this again a few years back, that it's a film that kind of gave me nightmares. There's a scene at the start with guys at a Vietnam camp and they get beheaded, and it's pretty gruesome, and that scene has always stuck with me. Frankenhooker, I've just stuck with the updated artwork. Haven't seen that, it looks bonkers. Day of the Dead, another Day of the Dead. I say I've got this on DVD and Blu-ray a couple of times. I've got the steelbook. This is the 2 or 3 disc, 3 disc DVD and Blu-ray and extras. I'm not going to open up all these because this video will end up running for years. House by the Cemetery. So these are essentially what would have been in the white boxes, but I don't have the actual boxes. They started releasing them. I think the white boxes were sort of the proto-early limited edition things, before they moved on to actual box sets. And these are just the general release, and the only difference is you don't get a white box with them. And another Battle Royale, very bog standard. There is a director's cut of this that they put out. I do apologise, my phone isn't focusing very well. Lady Snowblood. This has got Lady Snowblood and the follow-up. Cracking films. I've watched both of these. I love this kind of stuff. Sort of exploitation samurai stuff like the Lone Wolf and Cub series. Another white box without the white box is Leasing the Devil. Haven't seen this. This is a Mario Bava film, another one. And there was a run of these, Bar and Blood. Haven't watched that yet. And Black Sabbath. And where I could, I tried to get the Mario Bava films with the, with multiple discs and the booklet. The only one that I didn't manage to get was Bay of Blood, which would be the white box, but I think you can't find that for a decent price. George Romero's Knight Riders. I've seen this years ago. I love this artwork here. I think this is the original artwork. The updated artwork's a little bit more stylistic, but good as well. I like that. And Squirm, which I've actually seen in the cinema as part of a festival. Pretty mad, low budget, weird film, inadvertently funny, and I love this artwork. This is beautiful. I think this is the original artwork, and it's one of those things where back in the day, back in the sort of 70s, 80s, 90s, the artwork was often far, far better than the film. You know, that sort of promise of what was on the cover just never bore out. Blowout, yep, great film, Brian De Palma. One of many Brian De Palma films that Arrow have done. I love this film, it's a great movie. Spider Baby, Jack Hill, haven't seen this, but it's meant to be really good. Foxy Brown, exploitation cinema from the sort of 70s, black exploitation. I hesitate using the word black exploitation because I believe it's kind of, you know, not preferred by a lot of people, so we'll just leave it black exploitation. Controversial films sometimes because they weren't perhaps as progressive or as empowering as people would like to make out. Anyway, The Car. Yeah, I've seen this years ago. Haven't watched it yet, but I love that design. Dressed to Kill. This is the original cover. Another Brian De Palma film. Yeah, it's pretty decent as well. Bit of a weird twist in it, which, quite frankly, you know, in sort of modern times isn't perhaps the best kind of twist. But it is what it is, you know. Still quite a good little psychological film. Good performance by gosh, what's his name now? My mind's gone blank. Keith Gordon, who was in Christine, and he's a filmmaker in his own right. Really good actor. Wish he'd been in more films. Time Bandits, Terry Gilliam film. Yeah, I love this design. It's cracking. Fall of the House of Usher, the first Vincent Price and Roger Corman collaboration for the Edgar Allan Poe stories, of which they did quite a few in films, not to mention other films that weren't part of the Poe cycle. Another De Palma film, The Fury. Again, I've seen this years ago. I don't really remember a huge deal about it. I think it's kind of a sort of thematic follow-up to Carrie in sort of tone or subject matter only. Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs. Cracking film. Love that. I've seen that so many times. Brilliant flick. Rabid Dogs, Mario Bava. Another one that I picked up the extra discs. Haven't seen it. Invasion of Body Snatchers. Prefer this cover. Great film. Watched it again recently. Obsession. Another Brian De Palma. This is the original cover, which I really like. This is a cracking film. It's essentially a Hitchcock film, but more than a pastiche. Much more than a pastiche. John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. I love this cover. This is a fantastic cover. Even more so than the original artwork, which is pretty decent. Great film, one of my favourites, one of my all-time favourites. White of the Eye. Haven't seen this, but I've heard good things. It's meant to be pretty mad. Blind Woman's Curse. It took me ages to find this. I think this is out of print now, and I struggled to find it, but I eventually got it. Haven't seen it yet, but again, as I say, I love my Japanese films. Jack Hill's Pit Stop. Haven't seen this. De Palma Sisters. Great film. I love this. I watched this not that long ago. Really, really good. Theatre Blood. Vincent Price. Haven't seen this, but I've heard a lot of good things. Pit and the Pendulum I have seen. This is the next Vincent Price, Roger Corman, Poe film. Pretty decent. Wild Geese. This is one of those odd ones that you think, why are Arrow releasing this? But I think I would have seen this years and years ago, but I don't really remember much about it. Delta Force, another strange release by Arrow, but That is what it is. I've seen this. I saw this back in the day. I remember kind of enjoying it. Beast Within. If it'll focus, come on phone. Haven't seen this, but I've heard a lot about the transformation in it. So yeah, it's lining up. Remo Williams. This is, I saw this when I was a kid and enjoyed it. Watched it again recently, and it's, yeah, there's a lot of problems, shall we say, a lot of issues with it. It's kind of entertaining, it's kind of stupid, but it's also very dodgy. Seijun Suzuki, Branded to Kill. Haven't seen this yet, but as I say, I've picked up most of the films that are available through various companies. Bound. This is the Wachowski sisters' first film, or one of their early films. I've seen this back in the day. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Now, if you bear with me, I've got these films here stacked up because I'm having to double layer them. But The Burbs, Tom Hanks film, Joe Dante, great little film. Again, a bit of a strange one from Arrow, but you know, it's kind of verging on culty, I suppose. Mark of the Devil. Don't know much about this, but it's got one of the Carradines in it. Looks good. Killer Clowns. Now, this is a controversial opinion, but I'm not a big fan of this film. I know a lot of people are, but a lot of people love it, think it's a great little horror comedy. I find it a little bit turgid, to be honest. Yeah, maybe I need to rewatch it. Maybe I was expecting something different, but I remember loving the trailer when I was a kid. You know, it was one of those trailers you saw and I was fascinated by it. But yeah, the finished product, the actual film, didn't do a lot for me. I do love that cover though. I think that's a cracking cover. Now this one, Night of the Comet, I did see this way back in the early 90s. Loved it. It's not perfect, but it's a cracking little film. It's quite smart in a lot of ways. Kind of subverts a lot of the, you know, women in peril kind of tropes that horror sometimes suffers from. The Visitor, haven't seen this, but it's meant to be absolutely bonkers. Girl Who Knew Too Much, another Mario Bava film. Haven't seen this. It looks like a very Hitchcock style of film. But yeah, that's the extra discs. Bog Standard With Neil and I. A lot of people will howl at me for this, but I've never seen this film. Been told to see it. I'll get round to it, but you know, we'll see. Comedy of Terrors, another Vincent Price film. This is by Jacques Tourneur, who's done a lot of great films. Cat People, Night of the Demon, great films. So yeah, I'll get round to that eventually. Oh, not something over there. Tomb of Ligeia. This is another of the Roger Corman Poe films. I can't remember if Vincent Price is in this one. There's one or two that he's not in. No, he is. He's in that one. I think there's just the one that he's not in, which I think is the Premature Burial, but neither that nor Mask of the Red Death have been released by... Mask of the Red Death has been released, just not by Arrow. Anyway, Haunted Palace, another one. I've got these sort of out of order because I've put them in as much as I can figure out. I've got them in release order, which 9 times out of 10 means the catalogue number. The Raven, that's another one. And Tales of Terror, the final Arrow one that they put out. Rollerball. Yeah, I haven't watched it. Well, I think I've seen it years ago, but I don't actually quite recall much about it. But it's meant to be really good. James Caan. Coffee, I have watched. Absolutely love this. I thought it was a cracking film. Pam Grier, who's in most of these black exploitation films that are put out. She's absolutely brilliant. Thief, Michael Mann film with James Caan. I haven't watched that. It's one of the few Michael Manns I've never seen, but I'll get around to it. As a Massacre Gun. Yeah, that's the double disc version with the booklet. So track down on eBay, and this is a kind of follow up to that. I don't know if it's an actual sequel, but I believe it's a follow up. Certainly with the same director and similar actors and themes. Blood and Black Lace, Mario Bava slasher. This is cracking. I absolutely love this film. In fact, I'm going to rewatch it soon. Absolutely brilliant. If you like the kind of more stylistic Dario Argento stuff, that's a must watch. Really good film. As is Hound of the Baskervilles, a Hammer film. I think this is the only Hammer film that Arrow have put out, because Hammer are available elsewhere. including Indicator, which I've got a lot of. But this is cracking. Vincent Price and Peter Cushing. Not Vincent Price, sorry, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. Brilliant, brilliant film. I loved that. I was very surprised by that, how good that was. Mona Lisa, Neil Jordan film, Bob Hoskins. I haven't seen this, but it's meant to be very, very good. Necromantic, I've just got the Amory case release of that because I can't get the box set for anything less than a mortgage. City of the Walking Dead, which is actually Nightmare City, but I saw this on another video. Someone had turned the artwork around the sleeve round, and I love this sleeve. I hadn't actually looked at it. Happenings of the Katakouris, haven't seen this. It's another Takashi Miike film, but it's meant to be insane. I have got that in Tartan Asia Extreme, but oops, I haven't watched it there either. I have watched Buckaroo Banzai, which is a great film. Not quite as good as I was hoping it to be, but it's still great. A bit strange, but it's got some great stuff in it. Zardoz, Sean Connery, John Boorman. John Boorman directed. I've seen quite a few John Boormans, and I love his films, but I haven't seen that one, but it does look rather mad. Madman, appropriately. 80s slasher, haven't seen that. Don't really know much about it. Videodrome, this is the original Videodrome cover. So I've got the box set upstairs. I've seen this years ago. A really good film. Very strange, but good. What have you done to Solange? Yeah, another giallo. Meant to be very good from what I hear. I love that cover there. Mutilator. I've watched, if I started watching this, I think I got halfway through and I don't know why I turned it off. Probably was just tired and I never got back to it, but I do need to get back to it. Got a great opening, absolutely bonkers opening, but great. And $5 for August, another Mario Bava film. Yep. There was a box set put out of Mario Bava stuff, but by then I had pretty much every single release and I didn't really see the point in getting it. And this is Nikatsu Diamond Guys Volume 1. This is the British release, which, you know, I'm a bit anal about. You know, I prefer the British releases if I can. And there's a Volume 2. They're basically 6 films across 2 releases from Nikatsu Studio. Oh, that looks broken. Oh well. Sort of noirish crime thriller stuff from the 60s. We've got Sheba Baby, another Pam Grier black exploitation film. This is, I haven't seen this, but I love that cover. That's absolutely brilliant, classy. And another one, Black Mama, White Mama. Again, I haven't seen this. I imagine they're all much of a muchness. Zero Boys, I have seen this. This is a great Graham Humphreys painting, who's done a lot of stuff for Arrow and various other companies. It's actually quite an enjoyable film. It's got, if I can remember her name, Kelly Maroney, I think it is, from the Night of the Comet and Chopping Mall. This is quite, it wasn't as violent as I was expecting, but actually quite a good little survivalist adventure film. Quite enjoyable. I'd love to see a really high concept remake of that actually. Count Yorga collection, 2 films. Haven't seen either of these, don't really know much about them. And we've got Bloodstained Butterfly, another giallo. I think this is more a courtroom based giallo. Right, and moving down here, I'll have to bear with me because I'm a little bit inflexible. I'll just go through these quickly because anyway, I've got Matinee, another Joe Dante film, great film, I've seen that years ago. It's John Goodman, very partially based on a true story. Dark Water, I think this is the Japanese cover. As I said in my Tartan Asia video, I'm not a big fan of this film. Maybe need to rewatch it. I just didn't think it was as good as, certainly not as good as Nakata's Ring films. Maybe I was expecting something that it wasn't. Burnt Offerings, strange kind of haunted house film with Oliver Reed. It was entertaining. I wasn't massively sold on it. 52 Pickup, drama with Roy Scheider. I think this is John Frankenheimer. directed. I don't know much about it. It's interesting. Initiation, it's a slasher film. I've heard it's quite good actually. I might get around to watching it. Howling 2, Jesus. It's not a good film. It really isn't. I've written up a review on Instagram. It's trash. Let's